There is a very specific kind of exhaustion, and it doesn't come from failure. It comes from doing too well for too long.
You know that feeling, right? You've finally hit your stride. Maybe it's a promotion or a project that just absolutely landed perfectly, a whole season of your life where things are just clicking. But instead of feeling proud or settled, this quiet, creeping sensation starts to set in, that the better you do, the more impossible it's going to be to keep it all up. And that's when you start to pull back. Just a little, just enough to breathe again.
So what is that? Why on earth does it happen? Why would anyone feel relief undoing something they worked so hard to build? Well, if that sounds even remotely familiar, I want you to know you're not lazy. You're not self-destructive. There is something much deeper going on here.
Now, the world has a lot of names for this kind of pattern, and they're usually well-meaning, but they all tend to sit right on the surface. They do a decent job describing what other people see, but they don't get close to what it actually feels like from the inside.
You'll hear people say, oh, that's just imposter syndrome or burnout, or even a classic fear of success. But those labels, they kind of miss the mark, don't they? They treat it like it's some simple phobia you can just logic your way out of.
And here's the absolute core of the contradiction. From the inside, that little slip up, that quiet unraveling, it doesn't feel like fear at all. In that moment, it feels like finally exhaling after holding your breath for months. It feels like relief. And that's the part that just doesn't make any sense on paper.
So what's actually happening? Well, it turns out there's a name for it in psychology, though you don't hear it talked about much in a way that captures its real-life impact. It's called the paradox of competence.
Okay, so that's the textbook definition. Let's break down what it actually means. The key idea here is that at a certain point, sustained competence stops feeling like your own personal resource and starts feeling like a contract you didn't know you signed. And the longer you perform well, the more binding that contract feels.
Just think about it for a second. Early success, that feels like freedom, right? It's validation. But sustained success, man, that can feel like surveillance. The world's expectations of you completely change. You're now expected to repeat that performance, to always maintain the standard you maybe accidentally set for yourself. And suddenly, your own success becomes a threat. So your brain, which is basically just a prediction engine trying to keep you safe, starts to read all this pressure as a dangerous situation. It calculates the emotional cost of staying successful and actually begins treating your own achievements as a stressor. And then it starts looking for the most efficient exit it can find. And that exit is often quiet sabotage.
But here's what's so important to understand. This is not a character flaw. Not at all. It's an adaptation. For so many of us, this pattern started forming really early in life, often in environments where our performance was a kind of conditional currency.
Think back. Did doing something well just one time mean it was now your job forever? Did getting praise immediately turn into a new, higher expectation you had to meet? Did you learn that your worth or love or stability had to be earned through constant performance? That making a mistake wasn't just a mistake, but it was emotionally unsafe?
See, your nervous system learns from all of this. It learns that competence isn't just a skill, it's a debt. It's a promise you didn't even realize you were making. So over time, the strategy it develops to manage that debt is to, every once in a while, appear a little less capable than you actually are.
But here is the part that most explanations completely miss. This whole pattern, it often has a hidden function that goes way beyond just managing expectations.
So let's try to reframe this whole thing. Is it really about self-destruction? Or could it be about proving that you were the one in control this whole time?
Because here's the quiet truth of it. Consistent success can start to feel less like something you created and more like something that's just happening to you. Sabotage, as strange as it sounds, is a way of reclaiming authorship. It's a way of saying, I can dismantle this, which proves it was mine to build in the first place. Now, just understanding this doesn't automatically make the pattern disappear. Of course not. But it does completely change how you relate to it, and that opens up a whole new path forward. So if you recognize any of this in yourself, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not sabotaging your life because you don't deserve good things. You are doing something remarkably, deeply human. You're just trying to survive the psychological weight of your own capability. This right here, this is the shift. Instead of shame, which just shuts everything down, you can start to approach this with curiosity. Instead of judging yourself for the impulse, you can try to understand it.
The goal isn't to never feel that pull again, it's just to notice it without immediately obeying it. That little gap, that moment of noticing, that's where everything starts to change.
The part of you that pulls away after a big win isn't trying to destroy your life. It's actually trying to protect you from a future that it genuinely believes will be unbearable. Your exhaustion, your resistance to success, it all makes perfect sense.
And that really leaves us with a question to sit with. What are the invisible contracts you've signed about your own worth? What are the unspoken terms of performance that are still running in the background of your life? Because once you start to see them, really see them, they become a lot harder to confuse with who you actually are.